Hi and welcome. So this week I just wanted to share with you a little bit about a dream that I had recently, and it's really stayed with me, not because it was unsettling or anything, but really to highlight how messages can come through our dreams, because the dream really did feel like I'd been guided through some sort of initiation. So, yeah, I sometimes find it difficult to remember my dreams, but this one, when I woke up, I remembered everything about it. So, I was at a gathering in this dream, and it really felt like it was partly educational. Like I was there to learn something, but also I knew it was something spiritual. So maybe like a spiritual workshop or something like that. So definitely, there wasn't anything structured going on. There were just lots of other people there gathering for the same reason, and there were those who were teachers or leaders or guides there to to teach and stuff. So in the dream, during this gathering of people, there was a lot of talk about banishment, exorcisms, releasing things that didn't belong, old energies, negative attachments. And I remember in the dream I was feeling quite melancholic, actually. And as the dream progressed, and talk about these banishments and these rituals, I started thinking, oh, maybe I'm carrying something like that too. Maybe I've got a negative attachment, or a negative entity attached to me. And that naming of a possibility, that is usually like the first step towards any sort of deep clearing. That that noticing, that moment of noticing that something feels off, and we admit it to ourselves. In the dream, what happened next was, and I always find dreams fascinating for this reason. I was using the bathroom, except it was like an open plan bathroom. So there were no cubicles. There wasn't even a door, to enter that space. But I was sat on the loo, completely like fine, not actually bothered. It was awkward, it was strange, but there was no one else around. And I was sat on the loo, and then a woman wanted to come into the bathroom too, but she was a bit more hesitant, like, oh, she only wanted to come in to wash her hands. And I was like, oh, don't worry, carry on. And I remember in the dream we were commenting how strange it was, a gather having a place like this for like lots of people to gather, and yet there's no privacy. So sort of like looking back at that part of the dream, I think it was talking about being able to let go without any shame. So there's no hiding, no pretending, about what was going on. And it was just a natural, everyone does it. It's just a natural process of release. So talking about, thinking about what that means spiritually, us allowing what needs to be released, to do that without hiding it, out of fear or out of judgment, or that is something quite big, I feel. So the other part of the dream, during this gathering, we were split up into smaller groups, and we had to walk through like the woods to go to another destination. Now, in this group that I was separated into, sort of like the leader of this little group, she was very flamboyant in her personality. And I remember she passed me a creature which was like a very fluffy rat, multicoloured. But it was really actually quite a comfort. So like once she passed it to me, I just felt like it was a real comforting feeling. And then I passed it on to someone else. I knew it wasn't mine to keep. I was soothed, and then I passed it on to someone else in the group. Now, from my understanding, rats symbolise survival and adaptability. And with it being multicoloured, bright, it was like pinks and purples, quite shimmery, not your typical rat. That maybe the message is, even when we do this shadow work, because I guess, a black rat tends to, we associate that with the shadow. Even when we do the shadow work, there can be beauty and there is adaptability. And then me passing that on to someone else reminds us that actually maybe this medicine isn't for me to keep, it's for me to share. And hence why I also decided to, share this with you now, this dream with you. And then walking through the woods, the woods obviously is about the unknown, what we can't see, and that sort of mystical part. And then I had to cross a stream. So there was a stream which I had to get across, but I realised actually I was wearing like linen trousers and I had sandals on, and somebody actually pointed out, but you haven't got the right footwear. But even so, I managed to get across to the other side. So what could that mean? Like, even in those moments where I feel like I'm not ready to make that crossing, where I feel like I'm not prepared, I don't have the right equipment, I'm not wearing the right footwear, actually we can still make it across, so it's not necessarily about having the perfect gear. It's more about our perseverance, and the willingness to continue moving forward. And then as we were walking, I mentioned to somebody that I was walking with, I didn't recognise any of the other characters in my dream. But I remember turning to the lady that I was walking with and just, talking about the theme that I keep hearing about, the exorcisms and banishments and things like that. And I mentioned to her, I think I might be carrying something that isn't mine. I think I might have an attachment to me that isn't, that might not be mine to carry. And in this dream, she turned to me and said, I thought that was the case. So confirming what I suspected, I thought that was the case. Tell it this, tell it that it cannot stay. And she said it with complete certainty. There was, how should I say it? It was like this unwavering force, setting those boundaries, that no, this negativity, whatever it is, it cannot stay attached. It has to be, it has to move on, it has to go. And she did share a name with me, which I have to, I'm told to keep to myself. But it really felt like maybe this is another guide or another guardian who has now stepped forward and made themselves known to me, that they are there helping me on my journey, and offering me this protection. So for me, the dream was very much, many layers. There's a lot of detail in a dream, but it was about recognizing that I might still have something that's holding me back, or there is a burden, something that has attached, but that I am capable and able to let go and release without shame, that I am able to receive comfort and adaptability, that I am still journeying and I am crossing into another phase or another area, and I have a guardian who is beside me, protecting me. So yeah, I just thought I'd just share that with you. There was, that aspect of sharing in the stream, and we all, no matter where we are on our spiritual journeys, we will always be coming across situations where something is asked of us. It's never a linear journey, healing and ascending. We will always be coming back to familiar themes and things. Sometimes we don't even not even consciously aware of these lessons and things happening, but dreams, it's one way that the universe communicates with us. So if you're able to note down your dreams, and try to make sense of what the different elements might mean, there could be a message there. So I would love to know if you have also had a dream that felt like it was a journey or a rite of passage in some way, and yeah, I would love to hear your story. So just share and let me know, and then I'll see you next time. Thank you.